This conference will now be recorded.
The Town of Cottage Grove Plan Commission will hold a public meeting on Wednesday, August 27th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. You can join the meeting at GoToMeeting. The agenda was properly posted and we do have a quorum. So I'll call the meeting to order and we'll go to the minutes of last month's meeting.
The Kirk and Heidi Delaware had RR1. Is that correct? What are they asking? That was that little scratch out they had done on the sheet. That was, so this is correct, or was it RR2?
I don't remember what it ended up with at the end of the county.
But it was RR1, I think, at the county. This would be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Tom, is there a second? I'm sorry,
You said-
Yeah.
Jerry?
Second.
Oh, sorry. Second by Jerry. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, public concerns, the public's opportunity to speak to the Plan Commission about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Artie?
Yes.
it's you.
Yep. I want to put on a addition on my shop, make it cold storage ag. Just to put some tractors in there and it's just going to be cold storage.
Okay. If I read your previous land division correctly, you have a little CUP that you've got your current shop and also where your mulch, I guess,
Yeah.
storages and stuff like that.
Yep.
The correspondence, I don't know if Roger Ling sent it to you or email,
Yeah.
was regarding that there wasn't enough existing room within that CUP.
Yeah. He said to talk to the town to see if they had a problem with it. He said if they didn't have a problem with it, he wouldn't have a problem with it. Well, then I talked to him a few days later and he said, well, I looked at it again and he said, you got to go and he wants me to go to light commercial. But just for an egg building, just for cold storage?
I think Roger's concern was in the email was the fact that some of the stuff from your existing business were to spill over, from your existing into the new building.
Yeah, well,
You've got enough acreage there. I'm wondering if he couldn't add on to his house, put a larger garage onto his house.
yeah,
If you're gonna not store business equipment in there.
No.
And if Roger is gonna say that, you're gonna have to rezone for light commercial,
Then I probably could add on it to my building if he said light commercial. But he said I'd have to come down here and talk to you guys and go through all the hoops.
Yeah, so if you were to do that, Roger suggests the property be rezoned to limited commercial zoning and a CUP obtained for outdoor storage and the single family residence, because obviously a house is a CUP on limited commercial. And he said he has discussed that with Art. So the change would need to be reviewed in the town policies to see if commercial zoning is allowed because it is in the neighborhood development area. And then he addressed some other issues that need to be, mentioned some other issues that need to be addressed as far as the current use and how it fits with the current approvals. So, and the town plan does say that existing commercial can be considered for expansion, right? And this isn't commercial, but it's a limited family business, so it's commercial use.
Mhm.
So I think it probably could be considered, right?
I agree.
Would be something that the plan commission could consider under the policies of the plan.
So it's theoretically possible with the current state that he has right now. I mean, current,
Well, the thing that, and I don't, it's not in Reggie's email, but there was another email, I think from maybe Sarah Johnson up there that said that while the CUP says it's for 1.3 acres, it's actually been applied to the whole lot because there was never a survey provided to show exactly what the 1.3 acres is. So they have the CUP applied to the whole lot right now. So like if you go map it on Access Data, it doesn't show a spot zone of 1.3 acres, it shows the whole lot.
It wasn't supposed to be like that because they messed up. They make mistakes every day. When I went to do that, to get in compliance to have my mulch, 10 feet to the right side of my shop towards my house was gonna be family commercial. The guy drew a dotted line. From there over was gonna be my separate from my business. And the guy up there that drew the dotted line apparently didn't forward that over.
I think they're looking more than a dotted line. The applicant would have needed to provide a written legal description of the proposed 1.3 acres back in 2014. So you needed to have the surveyor's description of where that 1.3 is, what they're saying.
Well, if you annex it to the village, then you have no Dane County zoning to worry about, right? Zoning can't touch villages.
Right.
So that's another way I could go.
Do you touch the village?
Huh?
Do you touch the village?
Well, no, but for the village, I know they want to come out there. They've always, a couple people have asked me to sell that 66 acres there, but I don't like neighbors, I don't want neighbors. But you pay your taxes, you don't have to, right? What rights do I have? I mean, I just want to put up an addition under the building and it's a bunch of too many rules and regulations. You pay your taxes and then you got to go through all this stuff through zoning.
I'm wondering, however, it may sound daunting but is it going to be, in the end, the easiest way around? If you truly want to, I know you had talked about putting an addition to your garage attached to your house,
Yeah, I could do
which you
that.
can do that also. I mean, up to a point. But by going through and readjusting the zoning and actually putting the shed where you want it,
That's what I want, yeah.
um,
Is this
Other
something
than-
you think they'll go through if I get to a light commercial? It sounded like Roger Lane didn't have a problem with it, but I'd have to go talk to the town and then get change the CUP to light commercial.
I mean, it's certainly something that the town would certainly go ahead and look at. I mean, you've got an existing operation there and have had for a number of years. And unless you're gonna put up this 300 by 300 building there in the corner, I'm exaggerating,
Yeah,
of course. Is it going to be that much more noticeable?
All I want to do is go off the top of it and go alongside my other existing building, 40 by 80. That's all it's going to be. So it's,
What would be the whole size of the building? You're saying you're gonna do an addition?
just gonna go out to the right side of my building towards my house.
Yeah.
My original shop is 40 by 80. cold storage building. I want to do another 40 by 80 because the only reason that my electricity right there, I can put lights in the cold storage because I can tap into my building right there.
Yeah.
So,
So you have two 40 by 80s.
yeah, I'm gonna come off the top of that peak and make a big long, so I got the same level ceiling so it doesn't taper down inside the building.
So you'll have, one pitch will be, I don't know.
Yeah, one
technically
big,
6 by, and then a 3 pitch.
one long pitch towards the house there, so.
So it'll be basically an 80 by 80 footprint versus a 40 by 160 footprint. Correct?
Yeah, I just want to go 40 by 80, add on, the width wise.
Right, but I mean, it's basically gonna be
Yeah.
square by the time
Yep,
you're
you
done.
bet. Yep, square. Yep. I'm trying to clean it. If you leave your equipment sit out, the weather's hard on it. I got some tractors and some chisel plows and stuff. I want to at least get inside, what weather does to equipment. And I want to keep everything parked inside with all the theft going on, and I want to keep it looking nice instead of stuff parked all over the place. And here I can tuck it inside and don't have to worry about people messing with stuff outside and keep it looking nice, I've never had a complaint, but I don't want any complaints. I've never had any noise complaints and starting too early in the morning, or I just want to keep my equipment inside. If people got equipment, you know how expensive it is, and I just want to keep it looking nice around there. I don't want no one mad. I don't want no complaints, So that's basically why I'm doing that, so.
I think theoretically, um,
So, I mean, the steps would be to apply to the county for limited commercial zoning with a conditional use permit for the outdoor storage that you have of the materials that you sell. And then, but you'll apply there first. Once they say, yep, that's a good, complete application, then you apply here. And your first appearance would be here at the town, but you'd have appearances at the county there too. So,
I've already submitted a drawing, and they all like the drawing, but it all come back to my CUP. And I gave them a nice drawing right to scale, so.
of what you're proposing.
Yeah, and they didn't see, in Roger Lane, I told them I did that to that Sarah girl, and she came back and said, it looked good, but my CUP. So maybe go in there and try getting limited commercial, fill out that permit. and-
You'll need to apply for the
Yeah.
rezone to limited commercial and then a conditional use permit.
Sure. So how bad is this gonna bump my taxes up? Property taxes.
Well, taxes are based on use and, improvements, basically. So for sure, the value of what you put up,
Yeah.
you already have commercial use. So, I mean, I can't speak for the assessor, but that's what they're based on.
Well, I guess if that's the route I gotta go, I guess that's the way I'm gonna have to go. I just want my stuff inside, You know what the crime going on around here. I just don't want windows busted or stuff poured in the fuel tanks, and that's my checkbook.
Understood.
Ain't much in it.
Talk to them. You're a reasonable man. Those guys up at the county, they can be reasonable too. And,
Sometimes.
go in there with a smile on your face, it'll pay you back in spades.
Okay, well, so what do I do? You're gonna,
You need to apply to the county
Okay.
first.
Okay, I'll do that.
And then once they've accepted it and said, yep, everything we need is here, then you can apply here. And
Okay.
we'll get you on the schedule here.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yes, that's it.
Okay,
All right, thank
thanks
you.
for stopping by.
Yep.
Anyone else for public concerns? Next item. Kyle R. Harretts, petitioner and property owner, 2001 Rapid Road, seeking a CUP for an accessory building over 12 feet in average height.
Let's go.
Hey, come on up and have a seat.
All right.
All right, what? Have you Or what's going on? Probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, so I want to build a bigger garage with a loft. So hence the reason for the additional height. It's just for cold storage. There's no business use or anything, just all personal use.
You're gonna take that out of the garage, I want to take it.
Yeah, the single car, yep. So it would go pretty much right on top of that same footprint, but obviously it's a bigger building, so it would take that out.
And what would the proposed height be?
22.
I'm sorry?
To the peak would be 22. So that would be 16, right under 16 for the mean.
Do you have any trees around? Is that plot? I can't remember.
In the front yard, there's a fair amount of oak trees. On the side, I think I attached, I don't know, I took some pictures of how it looks right now. I don't know if
One
they'll-
tree.
Yeah, there should be one oak tree, that's like right on the property line and a grass right there.
So your house is gonna pretty much from BB is gonna hide that garage.
Correct. Yeah, it's gonna be level with the existing garage, so it tucks it, behind.
What's our height requirement?
County is 12 feet with,
Not over,
I'm sorry,
to the peak is 12 feet,
No,
or from the.
He needs a
top of the wall?
conditional use permit because it'll be over 12 feet in average height. So the limit is 12 feet without a conditional use permit in average height.
so I'm right below an acre, so if I was above an acre, then I'd be able to do the 16, which is why I need the conditional use permit.
And you're gonna be at 22 for a total height.
Correct. Which I believe the 16 mean is like 22 and a half or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm below that technically.
How close is this garage to the neighbor? Very close. I mean, it's hard to tell in this picture.
It should be, I think the site plan is on there, so.
20 feet off the lot line, but how close, is there another neighbor real close to the line or not?
There's a pool that's right there, and then up on the hill would be the neighbor, so it would be, well over 100
Let's
feet,
see.
150 feet.
I don't really see any issues with it. It's hidden from the road. That side is all trees and the hill actually goes higher. I don't know what impact it'd really have.
And then upstairs is just cold storage up there too.
Yep, just a loft. My house itself isn't so big, so I was also planning on doing in the near future is obviously finish off the space in the basement to make that more livable, and that way this would, give me some room for some of that additional storage.
Beyond concrete?
Correct. Yep.
Is there anyone in the audience who wish to speak either for or against the proposed?
I'll speak for it. Kyle's a good guy, he's my neighbor.
Your name, sir?
James Heisey
Thank you,
I just-
James.
put 2 buildings up on my property. One's 120 by 60, and how big's the other one, Kyle? Not quite that big.
Bigger than what I'm building.
So he's holding that over me.
You don't have any issues at all?
No, not with Kyle, no.
Okay. Well, how about his barn or his garage? Kyle, he might be a good guy, but his garage may be, you know,
No, yeah, if it, all the neighbors knew this was coming, if they were gonna speak against them, they'd be here. I'm just a character witness for Kyle here.
I see. Thank you.
I'd make a motion. to
Well,
approve the
wait,
condition.
you guys have to go through those standards.
Yep.
Here we go.
7 magical standards.
You wanna go through them, Steve?
What's that?
You're gonna go through those standards?
Yes, we are. We're gonna, that way we can be official. Number 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, comfort, or general welfare.
Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Number 2, the uses, values, and enjoyment of other property in the neighborhood for purposes already permitted shall be in no foreseeable manner substantially impaired or diminished by the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use. Check.
Yep.
Check.
The establishment of the conditional use shall not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Agreed.
Check.
Check. Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary site improvements have been or are being made to accommodate the conditional use.
Yep.
We're okay?
Okay.
Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yep.
That the conditional use shall conform to all applicable regulations of the district in which it is located.
Correct. Question. On drainage. He doesn't have to have any form of a plan or any type of drainage. You need that as the improvements.
No, I'm going
County
to,
zoning will see to that with a zoning permit.
Okay. Yeah, check.
the conditional use is consistent with the adopted town and county comprehensive plans.
Check.
Yeah. If the conditional use is located within a farmland preservation zoning district, the conditional use is subject to the following standard. Well, it's not, that's
No.
no. Question I do have, are you gonna have, other than electricity, you gonna have any other kind of septic water or anything else out there?
No, I don't think I can, so, so it's just electric, just for, lights and stuff.
Sure. Just had to ask a question. All right. According to my standards, there are check marks here. He's met all 7 conditions. Tom,
So I'd make a motion to approve the conditional use permit applied for the garage exceeding the height elevation. Meets all the requirements on our checklist.
you have a motion?
Second.
Second by David to approve the CUP for the garage of excessive height. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. It'll be at the town board Tuesday.
Tuesday the 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Are you gonna stick around for anything else? I can go.
You're good.
All right, thanks.
All right, next item. Wade Houston Scar Pit LLC, comprehensive development review for a commercial subdivision on 111.7 acres at 3440 County N, intended for contractor-oriented uses that fall within heavy commercial zoning.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Mike Calkins with Snyder and Associates, the engineer for the project. Our company's doing survey work also. You're looking for your comments and support to move forward to the next step of the development of spending some money and preparing a preliminary plat and addressing the comments in your engineer planner review comments that you've received. We've read through those comments. We've got a couple things that I guess I'd like to highlight and or explain that we acknowledge more information is needed. Specifically, the sanitary sewer system. We're looking to the sanitary sewer that collects all the domestic flows and normal bathroom and drainage from each building into a sanitary sewer, which will drain to one location and have a septic and drain field that would take care of that, which is in the outlot 1 area on the maps that you have. To preliminary size that, we need to do some more soil testing. We had some soil sample taken by TGC and they looked at the properties associated with the sample. We feel confident that we can do some more testing and find a location that would meet the requirements for domestic flows only. If there's users that have special needs as it relates to the effluents needing treatment prior to entering the system, just like it would be if it was a public system, they'd be required to do that on their own prior to it coming to the system that would be installed. So if somebody has some grease traps or other things that they need to handle, we'd be looking to go through the process just as though it was 111 acre parcel, which it won't be. There'll be multiple users with it, but the system would be designed to protect itself from, even if it was in a city or a village, there's going to be protections on what can be allowed into the system. And we're looking to take that same approach with this, that each user would have to go through its own approval process. In treatment, pre-treatment. That was acknowledged in the review letters, and more testing needs to be done, and we recognize that. Another item that was brought up is the stormwater management. We've done some preliminary calculations in the outlets you see on the map. We feel comfortable that that should handle the requirements of Dane County. So the lot areas and the sizes of those we feel comfortable shouldn't get modified much from a preliminary plat submittal. We'll have to do some additional testing in lot 1 and down in lot 3 probably just to get some more test pits for infiltration. But so those items we know we need to take care of. And I think the biggest thing that we're here and want some feedback on is the desire to have a heavy commercial zoning on everything. And instead of, in the Mark's review letter, there's some comments about general commercial on lots 2 through, well, 2 has general commercial already, but it's lots 3 and 4. I think more about the storage and protecting the view than anything, but it'd be the owner's desire to have that heavy commercial with restrictions on it more so, and so that the flexibility is there. But if we're looking to protect the view, just have that done through restrictions versus changing the zone to general commercial. That I think is the biggest thing we want some feedback on. The owners are here to discuss that in more detail if you want some comments from them. I think the traffic impact analysis, we acknowledge that we don't control the schedule of that with the DOT involved, but we'll do what we can to keep moving it forward and, you know, getting approval subject to the TIA and the results of that, I guess, would be our desire, just to keep moving through the county and town process, acknowledging that that may have, you know, throw tweaks into geometrics or something else.
Given the scope of the entire project now versus not only your original lands, but the lands obtained from the Vinnie family, is there any concern? I'm opening this question up to everybody here. Is there any question in anybody's minds that the state might try and do an end around over on the North Star entrance on the 12 and 18 to maybe put the kibosh on something like that because of, you know, the amount of potential traffic? Lord knows what their traffic study is going to say. But I mean, do you have anything in your spidey senses or, you know?
My spidey senses are talking to our traffic engineer. Our traffic engineer says that he feels that there should be left turn lanes there already to protect people that are making that movement and or people that need to pull out and get going. But, you know, having said that, I don't think the volume of people are going to be looking to get to N and get to the interchange and go where they're going. We don't see that. It is concern of our traffic engineer to show and the counts that we did last week.
Have they looked into the traffic from that new Amazon warehouse up there? Whatever, there's gonna be a lot of traffic coming out there. Have you looked at that?
The traffic analysis will be done off of the base traffic that was counted last week, and then the projections from.
But there's no one working in that warehouse yet. There's no workers. They're just building it.
Yeah. And
once they get that up, there's gonna be a lot of employees in there coming and going.
Yeah, again, it's supposition because you've got 94 right next door to it. And from my conversations with the village was that they feel that a lot of the traffic is going to be east or west on 94 as to, you know, coming through. It's not to say that there isn't going to be any, you know, but, you know,
Well,
it's not like
18, that's another 3 through 4 way down below. There's gonna be a couple people coming up from there.
Yeah, the question is, how much of that can you put on this development?
Yeah,
Make
that's,
it their responsibility. There's Amazon, there's a whole bunch of development in Dane County that's increasing traffic everywhere. And so they can control what they can control, and what they'll do with their traffic study is they'll project the traffic from this development. They'll project traffic from a smaller development that Vinnie is contemplating to the southeast. And they'll project development from everything else in this interchange area that's supposed to go to commercial. And that's really their job, and that's what the DOT and the county want to see, so that the roads around it and the intersections can handle that. Now, you know, ultimately, will highways need to be expanded like they have been? Yeah, but is it the development's responsibility to deal with Amazon or what's going on in the Sun Prairie Business Park or the east side of Madison? No.
Yeah, certainly through the Amazon approval process, we sat, all of us here sat through that process there. They assured the village that the semi-traffic would not be coming through Cottage Grove, you know, heading south. They would be using the interstate to make their trips. But from an employee standpoint, you take their 1,500 employees or whatever they're projecting there and distribute it throughout Dane County, you know, north, south, east, and west. I can't tell you how many of those are going to live south of Cottage Grove and how many are going to live east or west or north. So that's part of the traffic projections, you know, based on current traffic. They apply a growth factor to all the roads, and that's how they come up with their recommendations. which would include Amazon. And whether it's Amazon or 10 other businesses, you're gonna still get that growth. They've got to take that into consideration with the surrounding communities.
If that we're still on the traffic study, I think Mike's comment is a good one, is that, I mean, it's gonna take several months to work through the traffic study and DOT's review of the traffic study and then design improvements. And oh, by the way, we've got Dane County Highway involved too. And their hope as a development team is in the meantime, there can be a parallel process where they go through rezoning, preliminary plat, and maybe even up to final plat. And there'd be conditions all along the way that says you're not gonna do anything until blah, blah, blah. And that way they wouldn't have to wait, literally several months before starting the rezoning process.
We would, upon favorable review or comments from this body, we would be looking to submit the rezoning application on September 18th, which then doesn't even get through the county approval process till January. So there are a lot of
They're
months
that
from a
far out.
traffic generation standpoint. That's just how long it takes to get through their public hearing and their board process. So the ones that Mark references is what we're looking to take that parallel track, and hopefully everything's in line for a spring construction start. So if we can get it approved earlier, where some dirt can get moved during the winter months, and that'd be even better. So the two big hurdles to me is, showing that sanitary sewer system can work and get permitted, which we can take that on its own track and show and submit that based on use and employee count, and estimated employee count, just like traffic count, and show that that system would be adequate for all of them to tie into. It'd be just, Mark raised the question, public versus private, and suggested that town probably doesn't have an interest in taking it over as a public system, which doesn't surprise us. But, so that, I don't think where there's any contention there, but it'd be more or less like a homeowners association or in a subdivision where each of the users is going to be responsible on the maintenance stuff. So. But that would be the desire, because there's a mass grading that needs to take place to make all this work and and when you get into the mass grading, then you're, trying to do the mound system and using septic fields off existing grades gets to be a problem for these large parcels that we want to basically flatten out for commercial users. So, which there's plenty of slope out there that we need to flatten out. So that's the reason for trying to go to more of a collected system into some sandy soil. And then one other item that was raised in Mark's letter was the ownership. There is a contract in place between the Carpet LLC and Linda Everson, right?
Yeah,
Linda, that to sell the property south of the stream
Oh, okay.
to Houston. So they would control that, and based on where we're at with the rezoning, she would need to sign the applications on the rezoning and the plat also to go through that process as being part of, in support of the contract that she has, because it can't get changed, or we can't do a CSM and transfer the ownership because it's all one big parcel, even though there's two tax parcels, it's one parcel. So we just need to create a lot line. Our intent is to leave 35 acres on the north so the zoning doesn't change on north of the stream, and then the rest of the land would be sold to Scarpet LLC south of the stream.
So how would that work then for that parcel without it being rezoned?
It's-
The county will tell you how they want you to
Yeah.
do that with the reason.
It's currently,
And I
it
think,
needs to be 35 acres in order to meet the current zoning.
I don't
and
know
that's
if
what-
Roger has been in touch with anybody yet, but I asked some questions about the rezone that's been applied for to essentially split the Vinian piece that you're buying down there, the two triangles. And I see that it was proposed to be RM16, and I just said it's gonna have to be deed restricted then, because RM16 technically has a home site. So it'd have to be deed restricted, but Roger had some other idea that he was gonna maybe reach out to you guys, something about doing the whole thing as a plat of survey. And I don't even know what that means. That's a new term to me. But, that you wouldn't have to do that interim rezone to RM16, but there'd be something else that you could do that would somehow group all that land getting ready for this. I don't know. So he may reach out to you on something there, and maybe that would work for something that, on that other end too. I'm not sure.
We've talked to his staff. I haven't talked to our surveyor, hasn't talked to Roger, I think specifically on the Everson property to the north, but we're struggling to find a way that we don't have to go through a rezone. So if we're gonna go through a rezone and the time associated with that, we're just doing it all and making it clean.
I don't know if what he was talking about would help or make it better or worse, but it sounded like, instead of having to have this interim RM16 parcel that you're gonna turn around and wanna make
Change
it
it anyway.
commercial,
Yeah.
that maybe there's something in the middle. I don't know. It's
And
worth asking about.
or if there's and we're happy to reach out and figure out if Roger had came up with an idea
Yeah.
with his staff from the time that our surveyor's been down there multiple times, trying to figure out how do we get the Houston's or Scarpet LLC the ability to buy that land south,
Mhm. And the
So
same
that-
thing
so
is
that-
true.
so
with
that
the
Linda
Vinnie-
doesn't have to sign the
Vinnie piece.
plat or be part of the rezoning. It's just all owned and controlled by
Yeah.
Scarpet. And if she needs to be part of that, I think there's a contract in place. Everybody's intent is for them to buy it, so I think that's the positive, I guess. So it's just, there's always risk associated with somebody saying they won't sign it, and it's like, we'd rather not have that, so.
No, agreed. Mark's comment regarding the sanitary sewer, for lack of a better word, will everything in the whole 111 acres in the whole proposed development, obviously, is that gonna all gravity feed down to where you want it to locate it, or are you gonna have to have like lift stations in order to,
The
or
sewer,
what's the plan, I should say?
the sewer itself would parallel the road and would be able to handle all the lots. Now, there might be individual, like on lot 8 specifically, which is over, there's a parcel that they had acquired, when they acquired from Vinnie's. That parcel, because it falls away, may need to have a grinder or whatever it is needed to get up to that gravity system. But, with the ridge lines right between where the Vinnie parcel is and the Scar Pit parcel is, and that's a high point. And that is, reasonable depths can be, and the sewer can be installed at reasonable depths to keep the gravity all the way from outlet 2 all the way down to this green field, I guess. So we're anticipating that other than lot 8, the rest of it would be able to gravity right into the gravity system. But the lot 8, I can't say that, depending on the building location and elevation, that would be the case. So just like, that's why we gotta put ponds on outlet 2 and outlet 3, because that land wants to drain southeast, but we can get it accomplished, take it back to the west sewer.
One of the big reasons too is it'd be a nice amenity to have the joint septic, but the amount of grading that's needed, because we're tied into, we gotta come from North Star, the highway in, we got Paul Davis there to deal with. And just to make the road a decent profile, there's so much earthwork that needs to be done to where if you had to put a septic on each individual lot and save that virgin area,
Sure.
you're gonna have, it's just not gonna fit, not gonna work.
It's not gonna lend itself for the types of
Right.
uses that you're anticipated that wanna be near that interchange.
I mean, I personally am not against having a common, septic system for everybody by any stretch.
Oh, it's kind of cool.
Go ahead.
Would each property have its own holding tank or basically solids tank?
Well, the way it's proposed now is they'll handle the domestic sewer and water, or the water waste for toilets and normal kind of usage.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and wants to do, which it's not very feasible for like some type of manufacturing that needs some kind of pre-treatment.
Yeah.
That would have to be handled on their own lot. prior to going into this system.
You're right, yeah, or they might have to
Or it
have,
might not even go into this system.
they might have their own holding tank that needs to be pumped, but they're only gonna be allowed the domestic flows and or clean flows to be after it's
The
retreated.
answer is yes, there's going to be tanks on each.
There will be a tank in each
Possible.
lot, and then the gray water would go to the, possibly go over to the.
No, it'd be
No.
everything, solids and
Everything.
everything.
Solids, everything, okay, okay.
It'll be a standard sewer, just like someone was on in the
Hooking up
village
a
here.
subdivision.
It's just, it's just that garage runoff
Okay.
or some specialty like that would have to have its own grade tank to handle that type of water and treat it.
No, I'm just getting a picture of what you guys, what's going on. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another industrial park like that in Dane County or in the state?
The state is, said they haven't seen a submittal of this type, that they're not, it doesn't, it's not against, they just haven't seen anybody bring it in as a private
Throughout
system.
the whole state?
The people that we've talked to that have reviewed it, we haven't run into them, but
Cutting edge technology.
What is the
apparently.
selling point?
For residential even, Mike?
I know there's residential.
there's residential, but on the commercial, they keep wanting to tell us that we need pre-treatment and all the manufacturing, and everybody does that on their own. And we're like, no, that's not our intent. Our intent is just to take care of the domestic, and they have not been able to tell us anywhere that they're aware of where they've permitted a commercial development with domestic flows to go to one location, so.
Yeah.
Which I'm 62 and it's the first time I've heard it too, so.
I think the trick is as much in setting up an association to manage it
Right.
after it's built.
Right, and each buyer is signing on and knowing that they have a maintenance portion of, based on the
Yeah.
area or whatever.
I mean, there are plenty of big septic systems that, have one or two pipes going to it in the state. So it's not like the technology is strange. It's the fact that, there's going to be 8 different or 7, at least different users that are going to be differently owned individuals. That's the unusual part. And how do you corral them all over time to make sure the thing's taken care of and, replaced in 40 years or whatever the life is.
There's several residential ones I've got a place that's on joint septic system. There's 12 houses on it right now. I think it's sized for 50. The way it's set up.
Oh, okay.
Well, just the requirement itself makes you duplicate whatever your design is. You gotta have a set aside for a second one anyhow.
You just answered my next question.
That'll
There
be
you go.
that'll be part of our design and the soil testing and the space that we have to set aside.
In case something happens, you do have a backup.
And our sizing, we have a potential user for lot 1 that has an employee count with another facility somewhere that we're just kind of using that as our guideline for domestic flows and trying, if that's distributed across the site. We want to be conservative because we don't want to have to worry about the space that's set aside for if something does fail, there'll be plenty of space to put a new one in or move the drain field adjacent to it.
When you're ready, I can comment a little bit about the zoning, because I think they need to know what they should apply for right now. I think that's a critical path.
Yeah, right, on September 18th, we need to be on the same page with you guys and what we're submitting to the county.
Yeah, so there are those edge issues with the Vinnie parcel and the Anderson parcel that'll have to be worked out with Dane County for sure. But in my comments, first I want to note that I have no concern with HC zoning on lots 1, 8, whatever those interior lots are as well. Mike, I guess it comes as a question as you come up N. You do have a lot of traffic, and once you get to Paul Davis and a little bit of South Paul Davis, it's right out there in front of you. So the concern would be, quality development and fully screened storage. And so I don't particularly care how we get there, but that's I think the objective of the town. If it's HC with deed restrictions that not only deal with use, but also those issues, quality and storage, then I wouldn't have a problem with that. As a alternate approach to having those lots 2, 3, and 4 zone general commercial instead.
I agree with Mark, the thing I don't want to see is, we get general outside storage and have to rely on, 20-foot tall screening, to go ahead and mask the appearance of whatever may be there and stuff. I have this utopian dream of having nice, I'll put big quotes around this, high-end buildings as opposed to, steel buildings, coming into the township from the south. The Houstons have made leaps and strides on the way their facility, has the appearance along Highway N, both south of N and as well as north of N, or excuse me, south of 12 and 18 and north of 12 and 18. And, I would like to see whatever is along County N, and if this were to be general commercial, that it just not be just like United Rentals, kind of thing. I'm not to say that you would, but
I mean, so
and I don't know how else to explain it, other than, if we're gonna have, I'm not saying that no one can have any type of outdoor storage of something, but I just don't want it to be the paramount type of use. If you want outdoor storage, let's stick you back a couple of blocks where it's not seen as freely, coming up Highway N or coming down Highway N.
Or behind the building, so the building, the screening, whatever's on the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, the way Paul Davis is oriented might be a model for how you would orient the buildings on lots 3 and 4 to their north. Paul Davis, I mean, they're fronted towards N because that's where their access is now, but why not continue that pattern to the north? And then have whatever storage use needs to the east of the building. And, in my opinion, Paul Davis is a pretty nice building. And, that might be a decent, thing to look at as a starting point for that. So building quality, building orientation relative to storage, things like that. We have a design review ordinance, but it only goes so far. So my proposal is if they want HC zoning, that perhaps we can collaborate on deed restrictions that not only just cross out uses and, make sure that you don't have cemeteries or nudie joints, but also, deal with the qualitative things that I'm talking about. And I think Mike's talking about, and you, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, we'd rather not on N have outdoor storage where you gotta screen it. That would look horrible on that.
Copart.
Right, like Copart or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Good.
But we want, if it's like decency, get equipment dealer, and he wants to show off his piece of equipment, you don't want to restrict them to have a fence around what they're
Correct.
trying
No,
to display.
I totally get that.
It's not gonna be a junkyard where we gotta screen it. If that's the case, they can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean.
It's gonna
or
be
even
nice
if-
to.
Or even if you had an automotive dealership show up there, I mean,
Right.
I would equate something like, Brooks in Implement in Sun Prairie. I mean, sure, every day on Main Street, you go by and see all their equipment. I personally wouldn't have an issue with that. They have a nice looking building. They're advertising their new products and,
That's kind of the thing we're looking for when we talk about outdoor storage, really. We don't want
Yeah.
junkyards and pallet racks full of storage materials.
the better term might be outdoor display.
Yeah, that is
There, yeah, right.
I work up in DeForest and every third business has that component to it.
what's
So
that?
I kind of,
Oh,
what's that? Outdoor display, leased equipment, whether it's tractors or construction equipment, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
It's kind of like what Fabic does with the one machine out
Oh,
front all the time.
along the belt.
Christmas
yeah.
lights on it.
Right. I mean, just speaking from the municipality standpoint, you got to be careful because everything becomes outdoor display. And so it does have to be limited, maybe it's not one, but it's in a limited area that you're dealing with that's called outdoor display, not everything, because I've been burned on that before too.
I think we're talking the same way, we're just
Yeah.
different
How do
terms.
you get to there?
Yeah. So I mean, if you guys are willing to work with us on, kind of standards for that, that would be put into deed restrictions. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the HC zoning from my perspective. It's certainly, either HC or GC is consistent with the comprehensive plan, so we wouldn't be running into any, consistency issues.
In your opinion, which would give us more leverage?
More. Well, if you just went GC with no deed restriction, you don't necessarily have the same leverage as if you say HC, but we're going to apply some restrictions on it related to the issues we've been talking about. I think it's less about the zoning and how it's implemented rather than, whether there's an H or a G in front of it. Because there's plenty of uses in the GC district that could be pretty ugly too.
And then don't you guys get a crack at it when people come in with their site plans for their lot?
We do.
Right,
They'll have to follow those restrictions that we're talking about.
right. And then you guys will be able to,
Those are not written specific to a particular site. So the issues like we're talking about with, hey, could you front the buildings onto N? We don't have any rule that says that. So if we could, craft some rules that, we know what we're writing them for. And I'm not talking about 20 pages. I'm talking about 2. That makes sense for, the specific geography of the place that we're dealing with.
Yeah, a buyer's gonna have to look at that 2 pages and feel comfortable they can accomplish what they're
Right.
trying to do.
right, the buyer's gonna wanna know.
Yeah. And I mean, if they can't, and, then they have other lots in the
Yeah,
development.
5, 6,
that
and
they-
7 they
Right,
can
they
buy.
could look at.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not sending them away.
I think that's great too from some of the other things I've seen recently, because the realtors have to disclose deed restrictions, you know what I mean? They can't just tell them that, oh yeah, you can do that on there. If there's a deed restriction, anybody that's doing their homework is gonna find a deed restriction and they're not gonna get burned somehow by a realtor misleading them. So I think that part is good too.
We have to have it written down, so the guidelines are,
Right.
we got to have it.
Yeah, you're not-
We can't go forward.
You're not gonna be able to sell it without things being black and white anyhow.
No,
So
no. It's gotta be written down just like Kim said.
if you were gonna buy it, you'd want it black and
You'd want
white.
the
but
same
you
way,
can do-
yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
it is what it is, no sugarcoat.
Conditions we place, ahead of time, on the property, or combination of deed restrictions, all the above, potentially. To guide potential.
Yeah, they'll have the town's design review ordinance that they know they have to meet. And then they would also have the second set of deed restrictions that they know they have to meet. Not just, is my use allowed here, but
Specific to that
what
lot.
do we have to do to design this site to make it work?
Specific orientation of the buildings related to those lots that are along the end and.
How to handle
maybe not-
display, how to handle storage that's not display. Those are the big 3, I think.
Sanitary sewer and the zoning, I feel good that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
HC zoning with some restrictions, we can go ahead with a September 18th submittal to the county and follow up with you guys accordingly.
Yep, I think we're all in agreement up here as far as the neighborhood
The
septic
with
system.
restrictions.
I'm just glad you don't have to make the road go through Paul's place. You just, the boat storage thing, that's great.
Wade, you had talked about that there was some sort of land swap or whatever with Paul Davis. Are they ever gonna be part of this development, so to speak, or are they still gonna be just all by themselves.
No, they'll be part of this. They're gonna access off the new road.
So their access out to end, no shut off.
I don't want to speak for them, but they've said that they'd get rid of that. They'd rather come out onto the future NADVIG or whatever it'd be called.
And 3 and 4 all go out to the new road, not out to end.
Everything will go on the new road.
So you currently have three driveways, and you may just end up with one road instead of 3 driveways.
Which is always good. Would Paul Davis be hooking up to your septic system, or no, they'd still stay
Yeah.
with whatever?
So they got a little different situation there with their,
Cleaning business?
yeah, they do a lot of washing and cleaning from
Yeah, that's why,
damage.
that's the reason why
Yeah,
I asked if it was,
yeah, so that's a big variable. So they're gonna handle their own. They've done their own testing already and they've got our plan. They're working on their grading plan to, their future building, septic area and all that stuff, so.
They've gone through their design and they said, here's where we need our lot lines. So they've gone to that level of design already that.
Okay.
Testing and they're.
Could actually help them having the sanitary stuff going to you guys and doing their own problems in their own septic field.
Right. We don't,
They were fine approaching their own system. We don't need to deal
We
with
don't need to muddy the
monitoring
waters.
whether they've got stuff coming into ours, so it's all good.
How you plumb it?
Plus, they needed a solution now. Their septic
Well,
is failed.
They're pumping it now.
Yeah, the DNR has been pushing them for months, so.
Is there some kind of an agreement in place? It looks like the road that goes out to North Star, like straddles the now Vinnie property and the Red Line Boat property, is that right? And that you guys got something figured out with them?
Not completely yet. We've been talking, supposed to meet with Paul again here. He's been busy. It's his busy season with the boats and stuff. So he wants to meet. He's excited about it. Excited about the whole development, actually. Steve Danovitz is good with it. We just got to sit down and finalize things, but he wanted to meet here after the holiday because of he's swamped with his.
They're supportive because the road then would be plowed by somebody else and the maintenance would be by somebody else. So it's a win-win, but.
Pulled off of their property, they have a little more real estate, and the back park has more value.
Right.
So
They end up with more lot.
if they decide not to be part of the plat or sign off, or maybe there's a warranty deed ahead of time as part of the platting process, we gotta work through that.
I've dealt with that very recently in another community. It's not terribly hard.
If they're fully committed, they will give up the land for the right of way.
Right.
We show it straddling right now, though, because we're anticipating the cooperation.
Okay.
so I guess the big question right here is HC or GC?
Yeah, that's really, I guess, up to you to advise, but I offer my opinion. I'm good with it with the clear restrictions on use and design.
I would say go GC with restrictions.
HC.
Or HC, yes, sorry. Yeah.
You should sit closer over there.
You can only kick so far, you know.
You're numbing that leg already. Try numb already.
Do you guys have anything else? that we haven't touched on?
HC with restrictions is what I would recommend. On all lots 3, 4. The others are all HC.
Can we come up with some language but prior to September 18th that makes you comfortable, Mark, so when we submit it to the county, they.
Yes.
Okay.
What's that? Are you fine with HC?
And then as far as anybody else coming in and anywhere in that development asking for the same thing, we may consider it based under what they are proposing. That's for us to decide. And just
Well, if you have HC, you'll have I mean, I guess they'll look at the zoning map and say, you gave them HC, but
Right.
then you have to show them, well, yeah, they got HC, but they had to deal with this.
Correct. And they did it the way we wanted it done, which you guys always do. So,
And they built a public road through the development, which was one of our big things that we wanted to have happen here. And, you know,
no, I'm okay.
there's ways to distinguish, I think, what is happening here versus, I understand you totally, Troy, because you're gonna get that.
And I'm fine with it, but, you know, having the HC, it's just that we're gonna have the last kick. And what they're proposing,
Again, you're gonna have, sounds like you're gonna have more leverage with the restrictions on the AC than a general sign. So,
that was brought up a while back when we were doing VC and then offering these CUPs. Where's, I think it was Majid said, why don't you guys just do HC and back it down from there? Like, it was brought up, so we're not far away.
Does this have to go to the board too?
Does this now have to go to the board?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
okay, didn't think so either.
Yeah. The preliminary plat and rezoning will have to go to the board. The
Right.
final plat will have to go to the board.
This doesn't.
we don't even need any formal action. We just got your comments tonight, right?
That is actually also true. You don't need a formal action.
Now, the road, you know, going through the property, is this, that was 70-foot right away, correct? Is that gonna be enough for, say, if you have a big customer with big stuff? Is that, I mean, is that gonna give you enough room for passage of two vehicles and so on and so forth, or? I know that,
The roads are only 12-foot lanes anyways. The more, that doesn't increase your road.
Well, no, I
width when you
thought-
go to a bigger right away.
didn't we do
Yeah, the
14
road,
foot?
the pavement would be a little wider.
Yeah, we did wider pavement.
It'll be a striped, there'll be, I forget what it is, but it'll be like 3 or 4 feet striped on the outside of the,
So rather than a gravel shoulder, you'd have a paved shoulder with the stripe.
plus gravel, plus a little gravel. There's a standard written in the subdivision
That's a
ordinance.
connector street, or what is that?
It's called a neighborhood connector street.
You'd have to
So the
follow
road, the lane width doesn't change.
The
It's
lane width doesn't
it's the
change,
extra
but if you
shoulder.
did, but obviously if you did have a vehicle or a fire engine, they're not gonna try to keep within the lines, you know, they'll use all the pavement.
It's gonna have a paved shoulder plus the gravel outright, correct?
Yeah, yes, it's specified in the ordinance. I mean, the gravel gets narrower.
There's a cross section of it in chapter 15, figure 2.
And the lane's 12 and the gravel and the paved shoulder is how wide and the gravel shoulder is how wide.
Figure 2, so it's 10 foot, so the pavement width in total is 30 feet.
Yeah. So 12.
And it's 5 feet on either side is striped. And then there's a 3 foot gravel shoulder. And then, you know, dealing with ditching. So the main question I would have is, you know, where's that sewer gonna go? And it might have to go in an easement outside of that.
Yeah, I was anticipating that the sewer would probably be on a long parallel to the right of way, but we'd have 1 or 2 locations that we have to cross the public right of way with the private sewer system.
That would make it clearer that it's theirs and not the town's to take care of
To
too.
be within an easement, yes.
What's the pavement width again?
30,
30 feet total?
yeah.
And then 3 foot gravel shoulders would be on that.
That's 6 feet.
Of shoulder.
This is a start. This is a start.
How wide is highway end?
What's the paved shoulder on that? I know the lanes are probably 12 feet, so you got a couple feet of paved shoulder there too. It's gonna be similar, probably. I don't know, whatever's in their ordinances with that.
It's a start of us. You know, and then I gotta be deed restricted on the buildings and the quality of the buildings and that. If we start putting up a lot of fences for screening, it's defeating the purpose of some of the people that want to use this.
The one view from.
So we gotta, we're starting to go through this, and it's like a lot of challenges.
Yeah, we certainly can analyze turning movements for any size vehicles on the road too, to, as part of moving forward when we're glad if there's a different
Yeah,
proposal.
I'm just curious, you know. Certainly not anything else, but. So, any other questions that need to be answered tonight?
I guess the big bombshell is I don't think it should be called Netfig Road.
Well, we can get around that, whatever.
I think for emergency
That's
services,
gonna
that
be
makes
handled.
sense.
What's that, Kim?
For emergency services, that makes sense.
Roberts Road.
No. I wrote it up, you understand
He's
why.
holding out for Boulevard.
Yeah, right. I'm holding out, right?
Okay.
No, I don't disagree with the comment about that big road when there's two of them already.
Right, connecting to the same road, and it's a north-south address road.
And for marketing reasons, you guys are probably better off picking a
We're
different
fine.
road.
Yeah, you guys will have a better idea, I'm sure.
Take that bridge out on that. We can handle that one. We don't need that.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck and,
Yeah, we'll see you in quite a bit in the near future.
Thank you.
Mark, I couldn't believe it. They put DNR that is about the bumblebees.
It's pretty common.
It's the first time I've actually ever seen them come back with a species listed in there that might be affected. But I like your comment, you know, the area's been cropped so much that it's truly a habitat anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just a broad swath of area that's potential habitat. So the DNR will come back with either an all clear or you gotta do this kind of thing, but it's not gonna stop the development.
They did that for Vinnie's too, didn't they?
I think, oh yeah,
There was
they
something
flagged
down
it too.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
For what?
For Vinnie's, they did.
Did they?
Yeah.
For the bumblebees? Oh, I guess I didn't understand that.
I don't have it either.
Because I think I got, are you kidding me? When somebody was talking.
There's things you can do in like the basins types of plantings. Will make it better than it is now.
Send people out with nets and relocate them to a safer area. All right, next item. Discuss and consider revisions to the conditional use process. Has everyone seen?
Pretty much.
Huh?
Pretty much.
I can certainly speak to it in the token Kim, but yeah, just in summary, and then I can answer questions. The county has changed its process for conditional use permits. No longer is a hearing required at the town level. The town is supposed to base its decisions only on the factual basis, and you're not supposed to get in a situation where you guys are looking at one set of materials to consider a CUP and the county's got a different set of materials. So what we've proposed, Kim and I, is adjusting the form, the application form to fit that new regime, and change the town's land division and planning code. That's chapter 15 to reflect the new process. while we were at it, there is also a rezoning process that you're involved with. It's a county process, but you guys have a role. So we tried to tackle or kill two birds with one stone and have a procedure laid out that describes step by step what the plan commission would do, what the town board would do in both of those processes.
And also making it very clear, just like I told Mr. Voigt tonight, that we're not gonna put something on an agenda here until the county has accepted their application to be on their agenda, so that we don't get the back and forth where things change. Where you look at something and in the meantime, the county says, but we need this information and you guys have already seen it, now you gotta do it again. We've been doing it that way for quite a while, but we've got it in here now where it's pretty clear that we're not gonna accept it. I haven't for a long time. I've been standing that ground pretty hard.
So they apply at the county first.
You apply at the county first, and when the county basically assigns them a petition number and says you got a date with the ZLR, then they can come to me and apply and we'll get them on, because their schedule is so much further out that, when they get to that point, they're still not going to be heard up there for a couple of months, and we can get them through here in the middle of all that very easily.
And at that point, if we saw something we didn't like, because if it was three things we can do, we can say yes, we can say no, or we can do nothing.
Right.
So if we said no, it doesn't kill it there, but they can go back to the county or.
Well, they still have to go back to, you're just advisory anyway. And so but it was for a while there where if you said no, they had to say no too. That's not true now. That's advice. You're advising them to say no. They can make their own decision now.
There's really one more you could, and this is probably going to be the most common. You recommend approval with conditions.
Okay.
So approval as presented. We like it exactly the way it is. You're actually recommending to the town board, this body, approval with conditions, denial, or we're not going to take any town action. We're neutral on it, or this isn't a local issue, whatever that's going to be rare. But after you make your recommendation, the way it's laid out, first again, Kim has a solid wall written in the ordinance that she's not going to put it on the agenda until she's got the county petition number and all the county's materials, the same exact set of materials, and then she gets those to you. You have a meeting, but you don't have a public hearing, so she doesn't have to post notice for a public hearing. You make your recommendation to the town board. The town board then takes action. They have a specified time frame, and we laid that out for both reasons. It's a little bit different for rezoning and CUP, but we laid that out in the proposed changes, what that time frame is. The town board then makes essentially its recommendation to the county. For CUPs, it's true that the county could say, stick it, we're going to do what we want. For rezonings, that's not true. If the town board were to deny the rezoning, then it could not be approved as it was presented. So that's all kind of described in the ordinance. And then we also just have some disclaimers towards the end that the county's the one that's holding the public hearing. We don't intend to hold public hearings on either rezonings or conditional use permits. And the county's the enforcement agent for conditional use permits and rezonings if someone's violating a condition. Basically, obviously the complaint can come to you, but then you just transmit it to the county and say, we've got an issue here with someone violating condition 6 of this CUP you approved.
Can I re-summarize something? So the county can't override a zoning change from us, but they can override a CUP.
That's correct.
Okay.
If you deny a zoning change, they cannot approve it. That's a statute, that's state statute, been in place for a long time.
So
It's called veto power, basically.
Well, that's important is the gravel pits for the county, why they can override a CUP application.
Gravel pits are mostly CUPs, that's right.
But that's why the town might not approve it, but they can override it. The
That's
county can.
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct, Dave. And that's consistent with state law too. I mean, and I think counties that tried to give the power to towns got slapped down, and that's why we are where we are.
Yeah.
So
So do we have to make a motion?
we do.
So there's also a change to the change of land use. Form. The biggest change is just that we nixed the checklist that we used to have for CUPs. We can't ask for that anymore. We use what the county uses. That's what you see. That's the biggest change.
That's the last time we had to do it.
What's that?
It's the last time we.
No, with the checklist that we had in the packet that said, whenever you are applying for a CUP, you need to make sure you give us all this other stuff. We can't ask for anything if the county didn't
Additional.
ask for it. So we just got rid of that checklist. We still got it, you still gotta do the standards checklist that you did tonight.
So it looks like on page 3, when you have up here, that they were supposed to give you all the required documents by Dane County. So actually Dane County's gonna give you those, it won't be the.
Right, right. It's coming from Dane County, which it always does. It always does, and that's what I wait for. Because you would be amazed how many times people apply at the county and the county says, you know, this isn't complete, we need this and this and this. And if we had if they had brought that in and say, yep, I applied to the county and gave me their application packet, we would be going ahead without all the information that the county had. So that's why we wait. And then we go with what the county provides us.
And if it's also written that if you feel you want something else, you can ask for it, but you ask for it basically through the county.
Right.
So that if they provide it both to you and the county. You know, so everyone's always operating under the same packet of information.
One-stop shop.
If we want to attend a public hearing, we have to go up to the county then.
That is true.
Yeah, they do a lot of virtual too, so.
Anybody else have any questions?
But yeah, we need a recommendation on the ordinance change and a recommendation on the petition for land use change.
Yeah.
And the form change.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have to approve a form change.
Yeah, you have to make a recommendation to the town board to adopt the ordinance changes and to revise the form as presented.
Got that, David?
Yeah, so it's chapter 15 we're modifying,
Yep,
and then the petition for land use form
yep.
to, okay, the spirit of getting the things done. Motion, move to approve these modifications as presented.
I'll second.
Motioned and a second to approve the proposed revisions to chapter 15, the land use division and planning code, and also the proposed revisions to the petition for change of land use.
Yep.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Move to
Did
adjourn.
you put a hearing notice together?
Motion and a second to adjourn, not debatable, all those in favor say aye.
Right.
I was talking to her. Who made the motion in second?
David and second by Troy.